Hello and welcome to the RSE at ACE, a video guide for parents and carers. We'd like to thank you in advance for taking the time to watch this video. We hope that you'll find the content informative and helpful. Should you have any further queries after watching the video, please do not hesitate to get in contact. Contact details will follow at the end of the presentation. Our vision at ACE is that we work towards a world where we love, learn and flourish. We strongly believe that mutual respect and tolerance for different people and their beliefs is key in achieving this. Now that we have made you aware of the statutory requirements we must adhere to, we can now explain the content which we must deliver in RSE. It is important to mention here that RSE is nothing new. It has been delivered in good and outstanding schools for many years through the PSHCE curriculum. The only difference is now we have a statutory programme of learning that we must deliver just like the national curriculum. This framework is available to download directly from the government website, gov.uk. However, we will summarise the key points from this for you now. The RSE guidelines want schools to focus on the fundamental building blocks and characteristics of positive relationships. It advises teachers and staff should talk explicitly about the features of healthy relationships, which young people are likely to encounter, also modelling this within their own practice. It is important to note here that there is equal importance given to online and offline relationships. For many children, relationships formed online have equal importance as those formed offline. It is important that they understand that their behaviour towards others in the virtual world should align with the way they would treat people in the physical world. There is an emphasis on responsible data sharing, making sure children know how to protect their images and personal information. Also, educating the children that websites are businesses and that they have something to gain from the children using them. Guidance also focuses on the fact that families come in different shapes and sizes and from different backgrounds, therefore reducing stereotyping around this and stigma. It advises a deliberate cultivation of resilience and positive character traits or virtues to ensure positive relationships with themselves and with others. It wants to ensure that children are safeguarded through having clear understanding around concepts such as consent, boundaries and privacy. Then it covers the traditional science links around the external parts of the body, changes during puberty, and human life cycles. As well as RSE, the DfE have also defined some core knowledge around health education. This content, which has traditionally been delivered through PSHE programmes, includes the following themes: healthy eating, drugs, alcohol and tobacco education, changing adolescent body, basic first aid, physical health and fitness, mental well-being, and internet safety and harms. The guidance wants mental health to be prioritised as much as physical health and wants there to be explicit links made between them. It advises that children should develop the language to talk about their body's health and emotions and be able to judge their choices and behaviours appropriately. Children should be taught preventative steps, be able to evaluate their choices, risks, and develop self-care. Children should understand the benefits of engaging in social activities and the community. And again, how to manage the online world in a balanced and healthy way. How RSE is implemented is up to the schools. Our Safe ACE provision, which includes RSE, has been developed alongside key partners and experts. Highlighted here are some of the key partners we work with. Our resources have been mindfully selected from credible and reputable sources, and where appropriate, we have sought feedback from governors, parents, carers, staff and pupils. So what are your children being delivered in terms of RSE at Allerton CE Primary? At ACE, we have created the Safe ACE programme that is a holistic approach to health and wellbeing provision. This includes the provision of relationship, sex and health education, as well as provisions for social, emotional and mental health, citizenship and skills for life. All of these elements make up part of our weekly PSHE lessons, circle times or reflection times. The philosophy of our Safe ACE provision runs across the whole of the school, including the early years, nursery and reception. Our early years curriculum meets the requirements of the statutory framework for the early years foundation stage. The new Development Matters has guided the design of the curriculum, building on the strengths of our children and putting language development at the forefront of all we do. In the early years, all learning is fluid and areas of learning often overlap. The areas highlighted in blue are the ones where RSE are more likely to be featured most often. Through the Development Matters framework, the children are taught to see themselves as valuable individuals. They are taught to build constructive and respectful relationships, expressing their feelings and considering the feelings of others. They are guided to show resilience and perseverance, to identify and moderate their own feelings socially and emotionally, and to think about the perspectives of other people as well as their own needs. More information about the Development Matters framework and how we approach RSE in the early years can be sought from the Early Years Leader via the school office. In Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2, the Safe Aids curriculum is delivered through a carefully sequenced and layered approach. Layer 1 prioritises social, emotional and mental health. Layer 2 delivers on core knowledge for the children around relationships, health and sex education. Layer 3 are transferable life skills that can be capitalised on across the curriculum. All of these layers of learning deliver on key RSE outcomes. Layer 1. We believe that in order to have a healthy relationship with others, you need to have a healthy relationship with yourself. This includes understanding your emotions, thoughts and feelings and how to manage these. We are a MindMate Champion school and follow the MindMate programme, which has been developed in partnership with the Leeds Schools, Futures in Mind, Leeds Learning and the Health and Wellbeing team. This programme runs from Year 1 to Year 6 and covers 6 main themes: friends and families, feeling good and being me, strong emotions, being the same and being different, life changes and transitions, and problem solving and making it better. This programme is one of the ways in which we deliver on the core elements of relationships education. A copy of the MyMate programme progression can be made available on request from the PSHE leader via the school office. There is also additional information for parents and carers on the MindMate website, which you can access for free via www.mindmate.org.uk. We all know how important being empowered to seek help is in supporting our mental health and well-being. Part of good quality RSE is to ensure that our children know who they can trust and where they can go to seek for help. Across the school, we have our very own ACE Worry Monsters, who help us to communicate confidentially about how we're feeling and the situations that we might need support with. In the early years and Key Stage 1, each class has its own worry monster, which is introduced at the beginning of the year. In Key Stage 2, children have access to an online worry box via their class blog. This confidential links to the class teacher and the PSHE leader. Every PSHE lesson ends with a reminder of where the children can go to seek help and a reminder of the childline number. Worries will be dealt with sensitively and where appropriate, parents and carers will be invited in to discuss the matter further. Layer 2. Core knowledge of relationships, health and sex education. At ACE we follow the You, Me and PSHE scheme, which is linked to the year group's thematic learning where meaningful. Where there are gaps in coverage, we have created bespoke units to ensure the statutory requirements are met. This, along with the MyMate programme, make up the content of our weekly PSHE lessons. It is important to mention here that the content of our Safe Aids provision may evolve depending on local and national needs around health and well-being. Where relevant, parents and carers will have an opportunity to input into changes before they are made to the Safe Aids provision. RSE is weaved through our Safe Aids provision. Outlined here are the main units covered as part of the Safe Aids provision from Year 1 to 6. A copy of our PSHE long-term plan providing overviews of each unit is available on our website as an attached appendix to our PSHE and RSE policies. Should you require any further information or would like to discuss these units in greater depth, please contact the PSHE leader via the school office. We are more than happy to make an appointment with you to show you resources in relation to these units. Where we address sensitive topics such as knife crime and sex education, you will receive a parent mail communicating when these sessions are being taught. This will include additional links to support you in having these conversations with your child. We also offer a range of parent Q&A sessions and workshops where you'll have the opportunity to investigate resources. You'll be invited to these via email or the newsletter well in advance of the sessions being delivered. In line with the DfE's recommendation, we've ensured that all LGBT content is fully integrated within our Safe ACE provision. This content is ringed in red on the overview. LGBT content is delivered through understanding diversity, tolerance and mutual respect. This starts in the early years in Key Stage 1 by understanding and celebrating diversity. For example, that all families are different but they all have the same love for each other. This then builds in lower Key Stage 2 to understanding and investigating their own identities, recognising stereotypes and making their own choices about their likes and dislikes. At the Key Stage 2, children start to unpick how prejudice is formed, the impact discrimination has, and how they can become an upstander about injustices that they see in the world. One question that we are asked about LGBT content is what vocabulary is used with the children. The table here outlines key vocabulary introduced along particular points of the learning journey. Please feel free to pause the video at this point to take a closer look. An additional glossary of the terms of our Safe ACE curriculum is available on request via the office. Key resources used to teach themes around LGBT content, diversity, tolerance and mutual respect are outlined here for each year group. Copies of these resources can be made available to you on request. All resources have been vetted to ensure that they are age appropriate. Some are award-winning or have been frequently used over the years by many different education providers. Layer 3. These are transferable life skills that can be built into other areas of the curriculum such as science, history, geography or design technology. These are categorised into 11 life skills which are developing a healthy lifestyle, managing relationships, effective decision-making, communicating clearly, understanding rights and responsibilities, coping with life, the art of thinking, managing finances, goal setting, engaging in the community, and managing media. Please feel free to pause the video at this point to take a closer look at what each skill entails. Key concepts and themes relating to these skills for life are identified here. So how are skills for life used? These can be used to guide circle and reflection times or enhance PSHE lessons, but they can also be used to support learning in other curriculum areas. For example, when reading the class novel, the children could use the skill effective decision making to assess whether the character in a dilemma has made the right choice. In PE, the children may want to consider goal setting and reframing failure when it comes to achieving a personal best. Through managing finances in maths, children may create a budget for a household or justify how they can save for an item they want to purchase. In geography, children may consider what impacts on ocean biomes, how they feel about this, and how they want to communicate about it. In history, children may consider how people coped with life, especially in times of hardship, for example in World War II or during the Great Fire of London. And in design technology, children may be creating a healthy recipe and begin to evaluate what food choices they make and what impact these have on their mental and physical well-being. Skills for Life is another way that we enable the children to practice and reflect upon the knowledge and understanding they have gained around RSE and health education. Remember that RSE is a collaborative process and that we are all invested in your child's health and well-being. We are always happy to hear your feedback or support you in any way we can. Once again, should you need any further information or just have a simple query, please do not hesitate to contact us via the following email address: office@allertonceprimary.com.